welcome you to Drunk Book Club.
Don't step on my foot.
Yeah, no, you have plantar fasciitis.
Planters, it's dual.
It's singular.
Sierp Nayar.
I'm starting this recording. Would you get off your phone so we can start, please? Would you get off your phone so we can start, please?
I was texting you. Alright. Hi! Welcome to episode 1 of Drunk Book Club. My name's Ryan Bangma. Along with me.
Why? My name is Ryan Price.
And this month, we're discussing Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And we're pairing that along with Wild Turkey's Rare Breed. If you guys read the book, you'll remember a part of the book where Rachel Rosen brings a bottle of bourbon to Deckar, and they drink it before they...
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah?
Could you be a little more boring, please?
I could be more boring.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm Ryan Price.
I hate you. I didn't know we were going to get into this right away, but I guess...
We are.
We are. Yeah, okay.
So we'd like to start out each episode. We're going to do a small rundown of the book, Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, without being the most monotone, boring pieces of crap we can.
Okay, well then tell them about the book.
Ryan, would you like to synopsis? Would you like to give a synopsis of the book?
Okay, so Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is a story about a bounty hunter named Deckar, who is searching for these 6 androids. What he does is he retires androids, he finds them, figures out that they're actually androids, and then he terminates their life. This book, it brings up a lot of questions about what it means to be human, about empathy, about emotion, about sexual attraction.
To machinery. That's your favorite part. I remember you telling me that specifically.
Ooh. We're not going to get into the specifics of the book quite yet. So, Deckar has to terminate these 6 Nexus 6 androids. Each one he gets $1,000 for.
Which is not a lot.
It's not a lot.
Especially in future times.
Also, like, his main...
That's his one job.
But his main drive in the whole book, his main drive to do this is to buy a goat. Like, that
it's not even a goat at that point. He's talking about buying just any live animal.
Just any kind of animal.
You're judged based on how affluent you are in this post-apocalyptic time.
Yeah, so all the animals are gone. There's a few here and there, but you're very lucky to find a live wild one. So you buy these animals, and it's a status symbol in the book.
Yeah. And all you do is keep them alive. You don't want to risk doing something fun with them.
Yeah.
Because they could die, and that's like that's like 5 months' salary down the tube.
He is so crazy, Deckar, about buying an animal that he finds out that his buddy that he works with gets shot by an android and is in the hospital, and the first thing he does is he makes a phone call to find out how much it is to get an ostrich.
Yes.
Yeah.
It comes to him like, this is great. I wonder, now that I have, like, basically his job's open, I wonder if I'll be able to afford an ostrich.
Yeah. I could probably get an ostrich. I thought he was such a piece of trash.
Yeah.
He wasn't a good person.
It's Deckard, right? With a D on the end?
Deckard, Deckard, yeah.
Yeah, so Rick Deckard is he's basically just a blue-collar worker. And, so thank you for your synopsis, by the way. That was very all over the place.
Speaking of blue-collar, doesn't Ryan Price look like he could sell you a computer right now?
I can see most of your chest. Nice. So now I'd like to give a little background about Mr. Philip K. Dick. He was born in Chicago in 1915, and if you look in the back of the book, which I can't open because I've taped shut for display, the first line is that he was born in Chicago in 1915, and he was born a twin whose sister died in infancy. That's the first fact. So he lives a very haunted life by his dead ghost twin sister, which is probably a good fun. Like, you get to face both world wars and the Great Depression, all while being like a little baby ghost crawling around after you.
You just got a baby ghost after you the whole time.
Yeah, it's not like scary. It's more like
Well, no, actually, baby ghost is the scariest ghost.
boo boo gaga.
I can't say it anymore. You've ruined it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all they felt was fitting to share about Philip K. Dick in the back of possibly one of his most famous works was that he was the survivor of two twins. One of them died. I don't know. It sounds like a real Sophie's Choice.
What? Sophie Loren?
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
The dead twin thing is tough.
A little. Well, I mean.
Well, because like it is like a weird anecdote, but it's also like his sister like died. That's really. It's
I mean,
really,
we all have a dead twin.
living
in some sense.
Yeah, that's true. It is like that old adage. What's that old saying? What's the old saying?
Once a dead twin, always.
Where have you been?
Where have you been?
Hey, dead twin. Where have you been? Our book this month, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, eventually became the 1982 sci-fi classic Blade Runner. Made by Ridley Scott, starring Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
They say that this is the book that inspired Blade Runner because the movie took some liberties, but as it should.
Yeah. We've had a fan write in already and tell us to explain how grossly inaccurate it is.
I feel like if you haven't done anything yet and you have somebody write in to complain about something you're potentially going to do, you can't call that person a fan.
We've had a really big fan write in. We've had our biggest fan write in.
We've had a guy
to highlight the fact that even though the movie is based on the book, that it's grossly different.
It is grossly, but I also didn't find it. I don't like. There was a few things in the movie or in the book that you just couldn't. The movie wouldn't be able to contain. I clapped though. I clapped.
Okay, go ahead. Nailed it. So jumping right into the content of the book, different.
I'll tell you somebody's content I want to jump into.
Someone said a little too much.
You're looking pretty good.
Alrighty. This book was written in 1968, and so Philip K. Dick, writing about the days of tomorrow, has a lot of grandiose ideas and a lot of just.
Well, there's a few things I just find really weird. So the androids in this book. You can't tell if people are human. You can't cut them if they bleed. The androids still bleed. If you cut an android, does
if you cut bleed? Me, do I not bleed?
If you cut an android, does it not bleed?
Perfect.
It bleeds. But the only way, so they have this thing called a Voight-Kampff test that tests for empathy because androids can't fake empathy that well. You can tell that way, kind of. Or the only surefire way is to do a bone marrow test, which they do after they've already killed them. So we've had these machines that are basically human. But then at one point, Deckard has to make a phone call, and he goes to a vid phone attached to a wall that charges him 50 cents. It charges him 50 cents. He's got to go to a wall to call his wife and put in 2 quarters. 2 quarters.
No.
Pops those quarters in.
It's a 50-cent piece.
It's a 50-cent piece.
Which they did away with in the 70s to his credit. But he thought the only thing that would, like, we have flying cars. We have androids that are so realistic.
They have
so
an
well-designed.
empathy machine that you hook into and you become this other person named Mercer. And you feel empathetic with everybody else who's hooked in. They have this technology, but you got to go put a thing in a thing to make a phone call still. Like you haven't. That is like
huge technological advance. Video phone.
VidPhone.
That's it.
VidPhone.
Vid payphone.
There are weird things that they, like, shorten in this book. Like, 1,000 is 1,000.
But they still use just regular dollars.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you get 30 credits. You get, you
Yeah.
scan your hand card.
Well, I made 1,000.
Yeah, I make 1,000 per Android.
I also think, like, this whole bone marrow thing, like, so you gotta blast some android's head off and you gotta test his bone marrow to know if you're right or not. Can you just, like, at the word, can you just, like, chop off a finger? Or, like, just drill into that? Like, was it so crazy to think that you couldn't do a spinal tap in the future? Or if that's the only way to tell, you're just blasting androids and it's like that shoot first, ask questions later. I mean, it's...
And it brings up like the whole system that they've got set up in this post-apocalyptic world. Like they've got a colony on Mars, and so if you didn't emigrate to Mars, you're either a special, which means that your mind has been so deteriorated that you're what's known as an ant head or a chicken head.
Chicken head.
So you're a special, and you're just a very simple person. Your mind's been deteriorated. You're a chicken head.
Chicken head.
You do menial tasks, whatever. So you're not allowed to reproduce. If you're old, you're not allowed to emigrate or reproduce because they just don't want you. And there's also some sort of voyage that they took to a far-off galaxy that they thought was inhabitable. But in the book, you never find out if they made it. And you've just got this whole system set up where it's so technologically advanced, except they can't figure out if an android is an android.
They don't know if an android's an android. The whole book is about, like, figuring out if an android's an android. But the whole time it's like, no, I don't know, that's the one thing we can't seem to do.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't figure out, we don't really know if an android... There's like, androids don't even know if there's androids. They don't even know that they're an android. That's how good these androids are. They're like, I'm not an android. Well, if I am an android, I'm also a bounty hunter, so you better off me. There's one part in this book where this real dick of a guy, what's his name again?
His name's Phil.
Phil
Resch.
Phil Resch. Sure. It's called Drunk Book Club. There's this guy named Phil Resch. And I don't remember why I brought this up.
It's because he's a real piece of work.
He's a piece of art, and he thinks, there's a point where he thinks that he might be an android.
And he hates androids so
much. And he hates
much.
androids so much that he's like, if I'm an android, I'll kill myself. And Deckard's like, you will? He's like, yeah, I'll hold my breath.
Until I die.
Until I die!
And Deckard's like, that's not going to work. He's like, yes, it will.
Yes, it will, because androids can do that! They have no thing that makes them
And in this whole futuristic scenario, like, the reason androids are being hunted down is because they're escaping from
Mars.
The colony on Mars, where all of the affluent and all of the, like, the world's leaders have gone to create a new colony. And
the thing is,
this corporation's created androids to be their servants, so they're essentially slaves.
The thing is, if you voluntarily emigrate to Mars, you get a free android slave.
Yes, I'm more of an iPhone kind of guy.
Which apparently the android slaves aren't that into.
No,
and that's why they're trying to escape down to Earth
because they're created so human and lifelike that they are aware of how terrible their existence is.
So, this is my question. What's the point of killing them?
That's the point of the book.
Yes.
Is what's the difference between a human and android that's been created so lifelike that there's no difference anymore? The end. Just
because you can't feel empathy doesn't mean that you... I don't know, maybe it does. Is that how we... I guess that...
Yeah. So
in a way, that's how we treat like people that are sociopaths. I guess. I don't know. Like
they don't care how they are treated.
Fair enough. They don't have empathy. Yeah,
but the reason I brought up
cut. I don't want to talk about sociopaths on this show. Chicken head. No, don't have that in there.
Oh yeah. So the point I was talking about how androids are created so human and lifelike, but their only existence is to be subservient to the humans in these colonies. And so the reason they're hunted is because the only way they can escape from Mars is to kill a human and assume their identity and escape down to Earth. Mm-hmm. And I just picture, like, if androids are able to hold their breath until they die, and they're servants, but if they don't want to do something, they're just sitting there. It's like, hey, you know, clean up that pile of Mars dust. All that Mars dust just came in the door of our space home. Clean it up, and they're just like, no.
All that Mars dust is in our space home.
The Mars dust.
Get the Mars dust out of my space home.
Android's just like, no. I don't want it. I'm going to hold my breath. It's like, don't. I'm going to hold my breath until I die. And that's just something that they could do.
Let's talk about something else they can do. We have created them to not be able to resist their sexual urges. And then we made it illegal to have sex with them. We also made them the most beautiful things on Earth. Why did they do that? Why couldn't they just, if these robots are slaves, why couldn't they just make them look like robots? What is the point of this?
And they're so lifelike, the female robots don't have any empathy or sense of feelings towards our feelings.
Sorry, wait. What? What are you talking about right now?
Just kidding, ladies.
If you're going to say a weird sexist thing on this show, this is our show.
That's a setup for just kidding, ladies. You interrupted me with your...
Oh, just kidding, ladies.
Big old can of worms.
It's a big old can of worms. Why would we... Man, it's probably a metaphor. Everything in this book is a frickin' metaphor, man.
I hate metaphors. So, one of my absolute favorite things in the book is right in the beginning. They open up with Rick Deckard and his wife, her name is Iran. Rick is jolted awake, and he immediately feels good and vibrant and awake. And his wife wakes up slowly, and she hates it, and she doesn't want... That's because their alarm clock is what's called a Penfield mood organ. And this mood organ...
I got your Penfield mood organ.
Nailed it.
It didn't feel good.
No, it's terrible. So the Penfield mood organ is just something that it's this massive corporation that everyone has one of these in their house. And before you go to sleep, you set your time you wake up, and you set how you want to wake up. And he sets his to like 384. I'm waking up ready to take on the day. She sets
Sorry,
his...
what time?
384.
Is that a time?
No, but it's a number on the... Did you read the book? 384 in the morning.
It's new time. There's new time.
Yeah, there's 100 minutes.
Okay, I'm with you.
They touch on this a bunch of times in the book, and Iran, has recently discovered what it's like to live without a mood organ, and she loves being depressed, and she wants to set her mood organ to like no future, no sense of living, no reason to go on. And he's like, no, like let me set you to. And he's like, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to set us up. I'm going to set me for, like, ready to take on the day. I'm going to set you to ready to watch TV with a really good appreciation of my husband.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing you bring up about this mood organ. And I know you want to talk more about it. But then at the very end of the book, there's that role flips where she's the one that's like, hey, I'll just dial you in a nice mood. Like, don't you want to dial in something nice?
Yeah.
You know? So it's just like, that's not, I don't think that was necessarily her person. That might have just been like how she was feeling.
Well, yeah, it's maybe how she chose to dial herself in. But throughout as they go throughout their day in these different dials, it wears off eventually.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can already feel myself like getting stressed out of my mood that I dialed in.
Mm-hmm. Moody, if you will.
Moody. Yeah, and when he calls Iran at some point when he's all stressed out. And she's just so just sitting there like, I don't care. Because she never dialed herself into a positive feeling.
Yeah.
Because she gets off by not having her mood dictated by a machine. Because that's what the future has become, is every part of your day is dictated by, it's Philip K. dictated by a higher...
You can't say it was Philip K. dictated... and then just go on to a point that you're trying to make about this book. You can't do that.
I disagree.
But you can't without me saying something.
It's been Philip K. dictated.
I hate you so much right now.
For the rest of your day. And their whole, like, from sunup to sundown, whatever, any information they're fed, which it's indicated as the book goes on that nothing is as it seems. Like, the only information and entertainment and whatever they have access to is being funneled to them. Are you distracted? Someone
bored with what you're talking right now. Like you said.
Okay, so what would you set your mood to?
What would I set my mood organ to?
Okay, so
right now I would set my mood organ to not talking to you about this dumb crap. Like, I'm here, I'm present right now. Just don't talk about boring stuff.
Alright.
Just don't talk about boring stuff.
So, okay, what?
That's that's the
if
one.
You had a mood organ.
Yeah.
What would you set it to when you're going to sleep? And then, like, so you have your wake up, and then what do you set it to before you take on your day as a bartender or bounty hunter?
What would I set it to before I go to sleep, first off? I would set it to don't wet the bed.
Ever?
Tonight, specifically.
Would you set it to, like, a wet the bed roulette?
I don't know what that means. Like, wet the bed maybe?
It's my life.
These are options. Okay. This mood organ thing is just an extrapolation of things we already use. I mean, that's why we're doing Drunk Book Club, like...
Yeah, but if we had a mood organ, we could just be like...
coffee! Set it to coffee, man! Set it to coffee and an egg McMuffin, bro! You set your mood organ there, and then you're like, I feel good for a couple seconds, and then I feel like garbage. That's the whole problem!
We're never doing bourbon again. You're out of control.
I am more in control than I've ever been, my friend.
You're missing the point of the mood organ.
We already have this. This is just a compacted version of it. You know what I mean?
More predictable.
Like, you remember when you used to have to go to a different store to buy groceries, then to buy your tools, then to buy a pack of balloons? You know, now you just go to Walmart. That's your mood organ, bud. It's all right there. It's all compacted into one thing.
I don't do that.
The mood organ is the one thing that he probably looked at and extrapolated and, like, got right, because we do that now. We already only try and feel the way we want to feel. Do you remember what it's like to be bored? I do, because I was a few minutes ago when you were spelling off. Children now, I don't know. Like, I remember what it was like to be bored.
What children specifically?
Like, not like children that are children now, I guess. They're not bored anymore. There's screens, there's tablets, there's all of these things. We already have mood organs.
I guess the point
But it's just a thing you're dialing it in. I get it.
Yes,
I get it.
The point I was trying to make is that you have every possible feeling that you could possibly ever feel.
Yes.
It's like, yes, you have things that you can take and do to make you feel that, but you could just be like, set it to that, and then you push a button, and then it's there.
But my point is, is that it's an extrapolation of what we already have.
You've set your mood organ to unruly.
Okay. Well, I have, exactly.
I wanted to bring up the mood organ because I thought you would pick a silly feeling when in reality this got way out of control. Let's take a short break. Hey friends. We sure hope you enjoyed this episode of Drunk Book Club. Because we did. We'd like to invite you to join us on next time's episode, where we'll be reading Ablutions by Patrick DeWitt. That's it, right there.
That's it. Patrick DeWitt. That's it. Read the book.
Read the
Ablutions. That's not a real word. Maybe it is. I'll find out next month.
Please like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And we're just happy to be here.
Bye-bye.
Hey, welcome back, every one of you. So we're just, after a short break, recalibrating. Ryan really wants to talk about how the main character of the story...
I'm just saying, for you guys that read the book, Rick Deckard is a dick. Any moment that he has to think about anything, aside from his eternal conflict of, like, should I be killing androids? I probably shouldn't be killing androids. He's just like, I'd like to buy something. His whole point of existence...
Yeah, but
his whole point of being, his whole drive to kill these androids is just to buy animal.
Yeah,
An
but
animal.
these people are a victim of their environment. They're a victim of their environment. They've got all this external stimuli coming at them, telling them what is important.
Dude, that doesn't mean you can't be a dick. That doesn't mean I can't, like, I get it.
You've got one channel to watch on the television, Buster Friendly, and his propaganda emporium.
He's an android, though.
He is.
He's an android.
Oh, spoilers! Oh, you didn't say spoilers before you said that.
You could tell at the
Spoiler
beginning.
alert.
It was obvious at the very beginning of the book. They're like, oh,
isn't it weird?
Oh, isn't it weird how he can record this much? He doesn't like sleep or anything. It's so weird. Yeah, because he's an android. That's what this book's about. Androids.
You talk about how Rick is such a terrible guy, but it's just because in the book the only thing that frames anybody's value is owning a real animal.
Sure.
And how it's right at the beginning. It's the rudest thing you could possibly imagine to ask somebody if their animal is real. And he has
that
to take care of it.
Okay. That is also that line in the book is something that Rick thinks. So that's not a thing that possibly exists in the world.
Well, yeah,
of
but
the
it's
book.
a social construct.
It's a social construct that's only from Rick's perspective. It's only from Rick's perspective. So we don't actually know if the world is really like this, or if this is just Rick's interpretation of the world. If this is just his perspective.
That's true, because he gets
a lot of this book is about perspective.
He gets pretty out of there.
He gets pretty out of there.
At the end.
I just want to bring up one little thing. The climax of this book is when Rick Deckard kills the last 3 androids. The last 3 Nexus 6 models that he needs to eliminate. That thing that he built up, the whole entire book is this build up to him killing these, and I know it's about other things, but the whole book is about this build up to him killing these last 3 androids, and then his first line afterwards is like, androids are dumb, I totally killed them, I'm gonna go buy a goat. I'm gonna get a goat.
Whoa, it's not just a goat.
It's a Nubian.
It's a female black Nubian goat that they named Euphemia.
I hate that you know that.
Which they don't explain past that one line where Rick is like, and we'll name her Euphemia. I get it. You have a problem with Rick Deckard. One of the overarching themes or just recurring topics of this book is Mercerism.
Sure.
Mercerism is...
Oh, did you mean overarching or overarching?
No, overarching, like a back arch.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And the premise of the religion is this old man walking up a hill, and everyone grabs the empathy box and joins feelings with him and with everyone else watching.
Yeah. So, okay. I feel like you've gone too far without explaining some things.
You've gone too far.
There's this thing that everybody owns called an empathy box, and they go into it and they grab these 2 handles, and then you basically become this person named Mercer, and you feel the sorrows of the world. You become openly empathetic to everything in the world. Everybody else.
But the point is, when you have a good feeling, you go and join the empathy box.
You share it. You share your good feeling with everyone.
But when you have a bad feeling, you also join the empathy box so that you can absorb other people's good feelings.
Yeah.
The whole thing turns out, spoiler alert, das Spoiler skis.
Just get to it.
At the end of the book, it turns out that all the androids are like, boom, Mercerism is a farce. It turns out that it was just like the moon landing, which was also a farce. It was done in a Hollywood studio. What's his name? Wilbur Mercer.
Richard or Wilbur Mercer.
Is some drunk living in the southern United States in a movie set.
Like, even when they talked to Mercer, he was like, well, that's not how I feel, but that's how you feel, so just keep on being what you're being, man. It's all about perspective. Like, you remember that at the end of the book?
You're not wrong, man.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, but you're not right either. Just keep on being what you're being. And I think that was the point of the book. This was the point of the book, and this was what kept coming up in my mind, and I haven't talked about it yet.
Buckle up.
But the whole book is about comment on the human condition. It's about what it means to be human. It's about...
And you know, I think we've done a really good job explaining that. Thanks for watching Drunk Book Club.